So in subledgery to Oracle, it deals with sales, invoice, receipt, and collection activities. So in collection, we have many options like dunning letters, where the dunning letters sending the uh, I mean reminding
Late payment reminders.
reminders to the customers regarding the payments. So the main focus at account is the customer entry, sales, invoice, cash, receipt, and collection transaction. So these are the main focus. So customer entry. So we in Receivables it is O2C, order to cash flow cycle. You will be knowing it, right? So when
Yes.
we have to enter book and sales order, confirm it, and enter the uh, ship, confirm it. Then we have to invoice generation and receipt. So will be this is the thing for the O2C customer sales. So we have to generate the invoice, then payment, receipt, then collection activity goes on. So in AR, there are in fixed asset there was a three flex field. So category flex field, asset category flex field, location flex field, and then what asset category and location. Uh, no, title flex field is here. Asset category. Yeah, just one.
So I believe there were only two, classification and location.
No, there are three categories. So flex field.
So quantity.
No, not quantity. Just one minute. So just here you will be finding it. And here I guess it is location as category first is location and nothing I'm not able to recollect it. Yeah. So category flex field, location flex field, and asset key flex field it is in fixed asset.
Okay.
Category, location, asset key. Okay. So in AR it is sales, location flex field, and too much. Yeah. Yeah, flex field. Okay. So here it is sales tax location flex field uh, and territory flex field. And yeah, that's all. So only two flex fields are there. So sales tax and location flex field in AR module. So in say territory flexibility, it is a primary used to define the reporting territory and capturing the territory information. So from which country and capturing the territory information. It is also facilitates customized reporting on territory information with respect to salesperson. So for a salesperson, uh, it is used to capture the territory information, like from which location, where is the customer site, and all those customer related information to capitalize the territory information in Flexfield. Then in sales tax location Flexfield, it is used to determined by the customer state, country, and city. The sales tax location Flexfield structure helps one to capture a different rate as per the capture location. So here you can see application general ledger. So in system, we can see it when you open the Flexfield key segments. So there will be sales tax and location flexibility here. We'll see in system like how it is enabled, they have enabled. So here is example state, country, state, AR, lock, flex, and USA. They have captured it. So for territory flexibility, it is this one, customer territory, region, which region is belonging to which country is there. So all these things you can see it in flexibility, value and qualifiers. So your customer profile class, one can derive the customer profile class to the group. So which profile class he belongs to. So profile class means like how the customer is, which non it is an prepaid customer or non-commercial commercial customer it is related to which type of customer he belongs to the profile. So similar credit worthiness, if he is having a credit worth to some particular value, so they'll be assigned to one profile class. And business volume and payment cycles related to customer payment. Then credit limits, payment terms, treatment cycles. So these are, they belong to the customer profile class groups. Like on what basis these can be classified into which payment, like which profile class. Is it a commercial customer or non-commercial customer or prepaid customer? So based on that, we can classify on these things. The next is transaction level. So the information will flow to the transaction level. Transactions are enabled. So here you can see system profile class, customer standard, details of the customer, customer address. So it will be addressing address of a customer. Business level. So it business level, if the customer is a bill to or ship to customer, whether it is linked to bill to or ship to purpose of a customer. So we can assign these to an customer, bill to and ship to based on the
Yes.
business level.
Uh, Bill to is where we send the bills to, and ship to is where he wants the delivery of the product.
Delivery of the product. Yeah. So it can be both the same and can be different also.
Yes.
Where bill to address will be same as ship to address also. So just like Amazon, we do it right, like while ordering it, the bill to address and ship to address and all.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So it can be different and same thing. So same concept here only.
The ideology is bill to is your office address and ship to is your warehouse address.
Well, yeah, location, delivering address, yeah. So these are for the system setups thing. The system setup option, accounting tab, operating unit, VSA, then tax, account losses. So these are setups for the accounts receivable. So some system setups. So cross currency rate type, it is an exchange rate type using receipt and transaction into different currencies. So when you want a currency, when the primary currency is USD and you want it to be in GBP pound or in pound sterling, so this cross currency rate type will help you to capture the invoice, and based on that currency rate will be defined for those currencies. Like currency conversion will be there, right? From USD to GBP, pound sterling.
Yes, for example, if we are sending goods from India to suppose Bangladesh, and we want the payments to be in dollars,
Yeah,
so we will issue the bill as per our in rupees, so that we can add GST. The bill will go to them in Bangladeshi rupee, but the payment would have to come in USD.
yeah, yes,
All those exchange rates would be mentioned,
yeah, yes,
and that would be also if we wanted on a fixed uh, exchange rate or the floating exchange rate of the current market.
yeah. Floating rate and currency rate will be captured. Yeah. Tax tab. So it's the sales tax tab. So while entering the invoice, you would have seen it. The tax rate, the tax option will be there, right? The sales tax, state country, which tax you want to mention it, item
Yes,
size, on which item you want to tax the amount, how many what is the rate for that sales tax override rule. So here are the calculation level. So currency USD precision 2. So one can enter in either sales tax or value added tax. So VAT is now replaced by GST, right?
GST.
In India, yeah.
Yes. Well, it's the same thing. It's just it's been simplified. That's all.
Yeah, yes. So in during this thing, we have something called India globalization. So in India globalization, it is only meant for the Indian tax laws and all the business rules related to that. So if one enables the Indian globalization, so all the GST and all will be we can be calculated. Usually, this tax laws and all they'll be calculating based on the US thing, US. And
Okay.
so for India, if
Yes,
a
rules.
business we need to do it, so we need to enable the Indian globalization method or opt-ins as well.
Right.
Yeah. So invoice printing. So printing of an invoice, including tax, use checkbox, tax vendor. So it is a setup related to receivables. Um, Tax default and rules tab. Yeah. So this tax default hierarchy goes customer side, customer. So which based on the product or revenue of the customer and the site of the customer, we can default the tax and rules for regarding to that. Calculate tax and credit memo during an auto invoice. So based on that, we can default it. Tax code defaults one can enter the sequence number for each. Enter enable calculate tax on credit memo during auto invoice if on. Okay. Transaction and customer tab. Yeah, so it allows to change the printed transaction, payment of an unrelated transaction. The invoice which is not related to sales in sales order or other invoice like standard credit invoice or debit. So it will allow you to allow payment of unrelated transaction and show billing number. So when saved, it will show you the billing number also. Auto invoice. So this is the option where when an order management, when a sales order is created, so during O2C cycle, auto invoice option is being created so that we don't need to have manually create a based on the invoice and go to the invoice amount and select the amount. So this is the auto invoice program. There's a auto invoice program where when we enter the say order number, when we create a sales order number in the auto invoice program, so it will automatically calculate the automatically enter the invoice and create it also the AR receivable invoice. So from order management to receivable, it will be creating it. You have tried the O2C cycle, or like we are yet to try the O2C cycle, Alish?
Actually, when Suresh sir was explaining this, he was the implementation part was done on his system.
Okay.
We were just viewers.
Okay. So, no, like O2C cycle, just explained, or we have to do the practical yet?
Uh, Practical we are doing on our own. We were doing on our own,
Okay.
and in my system it was always errors and errors because of those constraints.
Okay.
But if you want, we can still try once again.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Once we finish this revision, so we can do a O2C cycle. So
Sure.
yeah. So auto cache rule. So these are the implementation setups where we have to in this auto cache rule set. Use field when one enter receipt for customer whose profile class has not been assigned. So for auto, if a customer is not been assigned to the profile class, so we have to assign on the auto cache rule set. Sales credit percent limit. So yeah, if one can specify the limit of the percentage of revenue plus non-revenue, then revenue and the non-revenue sales that person can have on transaction line. So on the credit percent limit, so it is a limit of the revenue and non-revenue of the particular customer. So there will be some limit for the credit limit for a customer based on the profile, like from which how the customer is a good customer, or is he having any bad debts or good debts. So based on that, the credit limit will be set by the user or by the supplier. So when he purchase any goods for the, so that he needs a receivable on credit, so these things will be calculated based on that.
Okay.
So if he's having too much debt, so the sales credit percent limit will be less. So it is just like a bank when we are having too much loans and we are not able to or just like credit card. So when you are not able to pay on time and score will be civil score will be affecting it. So the same like this concept only. Enable discount on partial payment, receivable discount on partial payment, discussion payment which is less than amount. Okay. So it is a printing for invoice. Then next is auto receipt. So just like auto invoice, we have an option called auto receipt. So based on the invoice number, the receipt will be generated on the same amount, invoice amount. Yeah. So one has to enter the number of receipt one wants to process an automatic receipt program. Invoice per commit, number of invoices one want to process. Okay. Change back due date. Default change back due date. So the due date can be changed based on the default option. Current date, deposit date, open invoice date, receipt date, default country. So from which country uh, is entering the invoice. So based on this, the auto receipt program will function. Then revenue policy tab. So these are also setups. So theory it is less, I guess, for this. Yeah, so AR collector setup who are involved in collection activity. Profile class, tab 1, then credit profile, then profile class amount. So one is profile class collectors. So for this, they are not. Yeah, so collectors receipt, stated dunning letters, terms, finance charges, invoicing, and consolidated billing. So credit profile classification of a customer, credit related thing, periodic review cycle analyst, and tolerance amount. Then next is profile class amount. So which on currency rates and limits they have. They need to maintain one customer and one can group customer with similar characteristics into one particular class. So for example, they have demonstrated a thing. So I can go through it. Dunning letters, send the dunning letters sent set standard or like receipt, consolidated buildings format, enable type, detail. So all these are like related to profile class for a thing when we need to set in related to customer. Then tax location and rates. Okay, just one go ahead. I feel this all are related to setups. Yeah. Um, these are the transaction types which are related to in AR invoice. So is a standard invoice, debit memo, credit memo, commitment, deposit, chargeback invoices. You would have seen creating while invoices, right? AR invoice.
Yes, debit memo we saw that. Invoice is like when we sell something, we send out an invoice. Our debit memo is the reverse of it.
Yeah.
No, like when we sell something and then they send to the sales returns, those are debit memos.
Yes.
And credit memo is, for example, if a customer he comes and gives us an advance, That would be credit memo.
Yes.
And then commitment is
Committing
it's
to
like
pay.
more like uh,
Committing to pay it on time.
yes.
Yeah.
And deposits are like uh,
Advance.
warranties.
Yes. Warranty and security, like advance amount to for one particular item or invoices.
Yes.
Yeah. So these are the transaction types. Then transaction sources will be there. Yeah, transaction sources. Uh, Automatic type sources will be there. So it controls the standard transaction type which are assigned to the thing. So if it is a manual transaction or automatic transaction or related to OR, I mean order to management O2C cycle sales order transaction it is. So the transaction sources are they have a thing. We can select on the which source we are selecting it. Is it a manual we are creating normally from the system, or from O2 order sales order entry it is, or batch transaction sources. So based on that, the numbering details will also, the sequence will be captured while saving the invoice, copying the numbers. Okay. So manual type manual and imported. If imported, one has to import transaction to receivable using order invoice. So this is the thing I was saying. So from order invoice, we can import the into receivable in thing. If one want to give the automatic batch number and enable the automatic batch number and give the last number used. So these are the things we have to do when we are creating a new invoice, entering the transaction. Source, transaction number, class of transaction, type of transaction it is, date, currency, terms, payment terms, ship to details, bill to details. Then next level, the line level details is item, description, the unit of measurement, whether it is a each or package or bulk measuring thing. Then quantity, unit price, then amount and tax code for the particular item. Finally, we have to complete the transaction. Then next we have to account it and transfer it to GL. So yeah, debit memo are used to bill a customer for additional charges and related to previously invoiced sales. So memo lines, these may be range of situation which we have to use a debit memo. So set up the transaction type of debit memo, cross reference transaction to debit memo is linked. Debit memo with charges. Okay. Credit memo. Credit memo is used to reduce the charges which are related to previously invoiced sale. So a credit memo decreases the account balances by the credit memo amount. So if amount, Mhm. Yeah, sorry. So here you will have a split term method, first in first out, last in first out, prorate method, the term method. You will
Yes, sir, it's a inventory management method.
yeah,
First
yes,
in, first out, last in, first out.
yeah.
FIFO.
You will learned
And that
in
changes.
MBA, right? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you will learned in MBA during MBA courses like first inventory method, first in
Yes,
first.
sir. We learned it in our BMS
Yeah,
course as well as BCom and everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, it it changes the entire
Inventory.
financial management as well.
Yeah, yes.
The cash flow system, the entire cash flow system changes because of it.
This.
However,
Yeah,
now first in first out is quite simple. It's nothing much. It's just like an expiry date. We use the ones which are about to
actually,
expire soon. We use them up. However, last in first out, I'm just not able to understand why would someone go with last in first out if basically it is said that those uh, itineraries, those products that are having lifelong capabilities,
yeah.
lifelong expiries. So those are used for life last in first out. But even if those are being used, why not use them on first in first out basis?
So first in first out, yeah. So this is the expiration, so we can relate to that. So last in, like, while clearing this inventory stocks or like thing, so there might be some clearing of stocks, like when the stocks is being too in bulk, so they want to clear the stocks, so they'll prefer in last in first out, like the last inventory stocks will be going for the first displacement of that to the customer.
Well, in our BMS, our sir had told us that it's mainly used for